Ready? All right, good evening. This is a meeting of the Finance Committee. Today is May 21st and it's 5:31. I am Jennifer Prentice. You have committee member Willie Medina, the person, committee member Maritza Shimera Jimenez online. We have board members, Joseph Pavlovich in person, Albert Ben in person. For board members. Alrighty. First item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes.
Move.
Moved by Joe Medina, I'll second it. Any discussion on that? None? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Alrighty. Wait, there's no internet. I don't have the thing.
Meeting agenda, won't help.
I got it.
From.
The next item on the agenda is discussion of possible referrals to the full board, the fiscal year 2025-26 K membership. Is there any presenting on that? You're gonna present them?
I don't know. To Madam Chair, it's pretty annual membership renewal for the board members at CAVE. It's the annual membership cost for next year, like Chair saying, it's for 25-26 fiscal year, $29,095 is the annual membership fee. So that's what we're looking for the board to approve, so we can pay so you go to the full board, so we can process the invoice.
I'll just say 25,905. Yep. Any discussion on that from board members? Committee members, then
Done. Okay.
have a question?
Yes, there's a couple of levels of CAVE membership, which level are we at? And because we use some supplemental services and added a couple of posts. Is it possible that the next level of service which provides certain things for free would be more cost beneficial?
Madam Chair, I could look into it. Honestly, I was not aware of various levels
there's-
of membership, to be honest.
CAVE Member Express, and there's a level above that. I think we're in the first bottom tier level. Where we gotta sometimes pay a fee to attend the seminar. If we could do a quick analysis on that before the meeting to see if
We'll research that and then we'll send it out to the board members by email.
Yes, before the full board meeting, it'll give you the levels of services or enhanced level of services you can get and the added cost of it, if at all.
I'm totally in support of CAVE membership. I just want to make sure we're getting the right thing for our buck.
But I see you're saying instead of incurring an additional cost, you can lump it into the.
If it's beneficial, just take a look. Absolutely.
Mr. Benning?
Look at this thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, what exactly cover all this 25,905 that exactly for the whole year? What exactly? So people understand. Because I know sometimes when you had the convention, there's something, you have to pay, for the board, pay, be there, but that's exactly what covers that.
And that's kind of what,
Yeah, I know it's part of, like, that's what.
but I don't have that contract in front, our previous contract in front of me. So again, once we break that down, we'll give you a little bit more detail. Because CAVE had it broken down that way, but we'll make sure that we have the comparison, and you'll see exactly the additional, the conventions, the webinars, all the other things that we can provide. So yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Thank you, that's favorite. No more question, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
There is a, no, I do not, but there is a, somewhat of an invoice that was presented
Yeah.
here. And it says that there's a policy update, publication subscription with CD at 350.
What that is that every year after legislative session, they provide policy and they make sure that each district that is a member can get it at a pretty cut rate. So that's a pretty good deal. And so we want to make sure those things are part of the contract that we actually renew for next year. Because this is a legislative session and you're going to get a lot of those new policies that need to be. Plus, we still have we're finishing up our policy contract with them now. That's going to probably already be part of it. So once we finalize all the policies that we're updating now, that's going to be part of it. That's that yearly $350 disc that you'll get with all the policies on it, which is pretty bargain when you think about it, and legislative years, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I see they're actually not even charging us instead, because when I see it here, it's a dollar amount, but it's not being charged, but then I see, board book at $3,000 that's added. So I think that might be some of the progress I made.
And that's one of the things we're going to be shifting to is board book. And Kate supports that as well. And that's just electronic way of doing the work of the board and supporting administrative work in connecting all those things together. So, yeah. Again, and I'm glad you're looking at that because some of the things that we're going to be really working towards modern on is what we do in the business to streamline the services that we provide and expedite things. As part of what CAVE is trying to put school boards and school districts to be able to do. And they're adding those features into the membership. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so again, the total will be 28,905 according to this. Jim,
Yes.
right? Okay. I heard 25, but I never heard them talking about the added fees that we're wanting to implement with the added services too. Thank you.
Is there a motion to bring this to the full board?
Make a motion to get the word right here to our, I have a copy of.
And be the full board, the fiscal year 2025 K membership.
So I'll move to the full board, CAVE, membership for 2025 to be presented and move forward for vote for the full board with, for the contract of 28,905.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that moves. Next item on agenda, discussion and possible referral to the full board. Continuation agreement for the SEL climate programming, the Catalyst. And it's for Barnes School, Berkeley Military Academy and Dunbar School. So I'll give it over to Ms. Clark.
First up is going to be Barnum. Their contract with Catalyst, former RISAP, which is what would have been on last year's agenda, which is why this is referenced as continuing. It is to continue their restorative practices facilitator, and that is actually coming out of the Commissioners Network. It's $87,823. It's a standard subcontract document that you've seen in the past. No additional changes were needed. The budget is built by the Catalyst team and it's providing services as expected. We do have Mark here and also I believe the representative from Barnum in the event if you have any questions, they can provide some information on how the program has gone or the services have gone in the last year.
Any members, do you have questions?
Yes, I'm just trying to get, because nothing was printed out. I'm just trying to get, you said Barnum, right?
This is Barnum.
And what does that price consist of, or what is it, where do we get to that number?
So the cost benefit into the contract is for the staffing for a social worker, including her benefits. It does not include supervision and other in-kind supports.
Is it for the staff of the social worker that's here? And there's only one, correct?
Correct.
And that's including, that's the total, or that's including, is that all inclusive, meaning a friend
That's
benefit?
everything, that's everything. Yeah, salary and benefits.
That's the only thing I want to do something. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Estrella Jimenez, do you have any questions on the Catalyst program?
No, I actually read them last night, and I did. If they were mentioning restorative practices, is that different than the roles that were eliminated in the 30 million budget cuts that we had a few weeks ago, or is this different? I was having trouble like distinguishing the two.
Is the restorative practice that are included in here, different than the restorative practice that we cut already?
It's the same thing.
The same thing, but this is calculus is bad.
Mr. Mayor, it's the same concept. It's just, it may be a different version based on the objectives of the contract. So it's all pretty much same. And we're gonna be doing a district-wide focus on restorative practices techniques across the district next year. Because remember, we also removed the restorative practices, what you call them, coaches, facilitators, in the district. So we're gonna be doing that district-wide and making sure that we can continue that disciplinary focus across the district.
The difference with this, with the people that are presenting tonight is that these people were funded through either Commissioner Network or the school improvement grants.
Perfect.
Any
Thank you
further-
for that. That was gonna be my follow-up question. Where's the money coming from? Thank you.
Just exactly was gonna be my follow-up.
This is.
It's all through grant funding.
School improvement grant and Commissioner Network.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was my initial question as well. But these monies could be spent on something else, but they gotta be spent in that specific school. So we're not overrun the people we just as to terminate due to the unfortunate burden, which is significant.
That's right.
We have no impact on them. And first thing, not too many things, minor thing, the date for legislature's contract needs to be updated. And I've got a question about page 8B, mediation. I think they're all over the place. So- And it'll be the same question throughout all of them. The mediation. We're going through arbitration. Why don't we just hold it to binding arbitration rather than possibly incur the expense for the next step? Yes, I know. And I said that every time I see it.
City, we can certainly ask
But yeah, okay.
again.
Because, and also the rider that we got to split the expense. I think it would cut down on needless arbitration if we could get a rider of the losing party foots the bill of the mediation. It's just a question and suggestion throughout basically all contracts. I think it would be a good practice to avoid unnecessary expenditures on arbitration.
Chair, I think one of the things that, guys, we take this through legal, we bounce at our city attorneys regarding contractual things that if I'm correct. And so I'm not a lawyer, so I would prefer to allow our legal team to, advise us if we need to kind of change, but you can take the suggestions and be able to kind of have that conversation as we move forward with contracts. That's pretty much in standard in a lot of contracts.
That's why-
I would prefer to, that's something that most of us as educators don't even get into. I would prefer that they advise and push us to change, delete, add, whatever we need to do in the contractual pieces of it.
Right, as Ms. Clark said, I asked this question before, but I don't believe I ever actually received a response.
Several years ago, actually.
I'm sorry, well,
Yeah, because this has been the general language. I'm scanning my brain as to the resolution, but taking a look again. Because it's been standard in.
right,
I will ask again.
that's all I have.
Mr. Medina.
I just want to make sure it was pointed out. Did anybody take a note of what's in a portal? Because like Mr. Scalia said, the dates are not matching. You've given us a document here and that is expiring on 6/30/25. So this doesn't reflect what we want to push forward to the board whatsoever.
Oh, it does.
It does? Well,
Yeah.
why is this contract, what I see here, is dated from 7/1/2024, and it's gonna end fiscal year, full contract end 6/30/25. And then it says budget fiscal year FY 24/25. I think, isn't this an extension? That's what we're voting for next year, or this is?
No,
This is to complete this year, so the issue that we have, it's the same thing we had
Okay, I'm
last.
sorry, I need you to speak with all the respect that I really can't hear.
I'm sorry, I think that's some allergies. My
Oh, I'm sorry.
is loud.
Feel bad.
They
Okay.
cannot.
We didn't know that.
So the issue that we have particularly for this is that we have to get the notice of award from the state, particularly these grants were approved later. The services began because it's a continuation, and that's why we're coming to you with a later contract.
So they haven't got paid for the work that they've been doing throughout this year, or you're trying, what you're trying to understand. Correct. Appreciate that. Can we? I apologize for that.
Yes.
And that's okay, because I think there was a delay on a lot of the funding in those particular school improvement grants. You know, we got the notification late, they approved it late. And so now we're just trying to make sure we take care of our obligation financially to the people that have been providing these services to the district, so.
Absolutely. Good faith.
Thank you.
Very
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for your grace.
Services.
Absolutely,
Thank you for your grace.
absolutely.
Thank you. Hang on, sorry. I just want to be sure, we clarify into the work, because that Mr. Medina said about the date. We don't want later, the policy thing change, we got new laws and what we're going through. They'll say, oh, you guys never changed the date and time. So I want to be sure, that part is clear. And my question for you, how come they said they never get paid? Why the reason they never get paid?
They have to have a contract.
They don't have a contract.
So once they have the contract, their appeals that are waiting will be able to process. So for these cases, their notice of award from the state, which we can't issue an actual contract for services until we get those, that was delayed. And that was actually the same case for a lot of these grants. So all of these are just coming together. Again, in the fate, it's the same thing that happened to us last year, if you recall. This is the last cycle of the SIG grants, and this is the end of this period of the commission network. The expectation is that we're not going to be in this situation. I say that every year. I really believe that next year we won't, as we're having all these other discussions. But it's unfortunately a situation we found ourselves in, and it's been going on for a period of time. Not just this year, last year and the year before was the same as well. And again, I extend all praise to the Catalyst team because they do understand what the situation is and coming to provide services as expected for these students.
Thank you. No more question on this.
Now I have follow-up questions. Thank you for providing services on spec, basically. When did the state approve the grant?
For this, they would have done their final approvals in December, later December into January. And at the time, we were going through lots of other discussions, so this was not work fine to make sure that we were able to get all the things that we needed.
Yes, and it seems very strange to approve a contract with 2 months left.
Yeah, no,
Not even
And-
once.
and just, we're not discussing that today, but even our Alliance grant, that wasn't approved until like February, March. We were put into a very awkward situation. But a lot of, vendors.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to bring us before the board?
Gotta get my sheets together that way I can help you. Is the end of this one?
Slide to slide. I was like, what? It's like, when, I think it's all the reason now.
We're gonna do each one individually. Do you want to do Barnum now?
Yeah, you want to time.
Okay, I make a motion to move, to the full board, a continuation agreement of SEL/climate programming with Catalyst CT at Barnum School.
I'll second it. For the debate. All in favor, say aye. Hold it, you can do the rest.
I was gonna grab it in.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Alright, that one passes. You gotta make the motion. Good to say it again.
Oh, we're not gonna go through each contract to make sure, or
Yeah,
they're all the same?
That was-
I'll make
the
it,
same thing.
I'll make a motion to move to the full board, a continuation agreement of SEL/climate programming with Catalyst Connecticut at Bridgeport Military Academy.
I'll second. Any questions on that one? Debate? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We're doing,
Alright, that one passes. Next one.
Make a motion, move to the full board, continuation agreement with SEL Climate Programming with Catalyst Connecticut at Dunbar School.
I'll second. Any further questions on that one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Okay, thank you guys. It'll, go to the full board on Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're good on this.
The next item is the presentation of the updated district organizational chart from Dr. Avery.
Good afternoon, everybody. I had copies, it's not of the organizational chart, but it's, I want to do a precursor to what you have in front of you right now. One of the things that should be happening over the next couple of weeks is that I am going to be considering providing this district with an organizational, a reorganization of the structure of what we do and how we do our business in Bridgeville Public Schools. And what I've done for you today is I've provided you with a couple of different organizations, districts around us. I want you to kind of take a peek at how some districts organize their school systems and working through it that way. In addition to that, I've given you 2 copies of some research documents regarding best practices in central office staffing structures and best practices for central office structure and restructuring. We're going to need to be able to go through that process and understand the research behind how districts are organized. And so I just wanted to give you guys a foreshadowing of some of the things that I'm looking to be able to do. And so I will, in the future, I will bring back to this committee first, and then we'll take it to the full board, a new glimpse of what I feel we can do with the limited positions that we have left in central office. So I want to make sure I can kind of, work through all of that. So that's really my presentation, just to let you guys understand that I am going to be bringing something to the board. That's why you didn't have, I've worked on this all this afternoon, going to websites, getting some additional things that you can look at. As I presented a tentative organizational chart this past, I think it was December, when I took on the interim superintendent position, as we looked at the first round of cost saving measures that I presented to the board. I also presented to you guys an organizational chart there. That is the current organizational chart that we have. But since then, we've cut a lot of positions. Just a couple of weeks ago, we cut an additional 9 positions that when I bring back the new organization chart, I'll show you some of the things and and I'm trying to make sure it's as cost neutral as possible, and making sure that you can see the savings that I anticipated that we were gonna save as well in that last round of cuts for central office. Again, so this is just really food for thought today. I'm not going to go into any rationale behind anything. I just wanted to make sure that I gave you some reading materials. You guys always want that you want to know, so I want you to kind of dive deep in and see the structure of districts that are smaller than Bridgeport Public Schools. We have the largest school district in Connecticut. And if we don't change the way we organize and we function on the financial side of the house, on the administrative side of the house, on the academic side of the house, and on the operational side of the house, we're never going to change what we do for and how we impact academic progress of schools. But I think the research behind how that works is very integral. And so I'm giving you some documents. I need for you to give me some input on when you go through reading those documents, so that we can have individual conversations with you guys. And we're gonna have a deep conversation about what I feel this district needs. And it's my professional opinion when I bring it to you. You can agree or disagree. That's okay as well. But I think it's healthy for boards and superintendents to really understand how to do the work. We have to really, I don't think we're going to get much more money from the state, guys. And if I don't plan to restructure based on the current cuts that we had, even this last $30 million cut, if I don't restructure and I don't change the way people think about this, not my job, so I can't do it, people are going to have to they have to multitask. They have to, understand how HR works with finance, with operations, and sometimes we're gonna have to do 2 or 3 different types of jobs to get the job done, right? And that's okay, but we all got to do it together. And I think we're ready. We just have to have some guidance, and the organizational chart is a way you guide that work in a district. And so I just need your mindsets to be with me. And this is what I've already researched. I've read the research. I've done a few organizational pieces, and I'm going to try to kind of right size the organization to be able to, especially when you guys set your goals, and the things that you guys want done, the organization has to map that out based on the things that you set forth for me as a superintendent, and then me for my campuses and the campus and district improvement plans. Those things are all part of how the organization hovers over those things to make improvements. So, and that's pretty much my presentation for you, Madam Chair, and I'll take any questions.
Anyone see any question?
Yes, super quick. But so out of all of this, is there any specific recommendations that you're providing tonight? Or is that coming at a later time?
It's coming at a later time. I just want you to kind of see how some structures, at the bottom of the page, I'll put the number of students that they serve so that you can kind of understand. Even with this district here in front of you, Waterbury, we're bigger than Waterbury, but you look at how they structure their system in order to take care of 18,000 kids. But then when you see our structure, it's going to be totally different because we just don't have the luxury to do and have the number of people that they have. So what do? We have to figure out the people in that division that can do the work that we have to do. We got to do the work regardless of how many people we have in the district, right? So we have to understand how you blend that out. And you have to also understand districts have people that are certified to do certain things. And you have to have people above them that have to supervise them in order to evaluate them. There's some positions we have in the district that they can't evaluate any instructional, any academic people, because these people are governed by the unions, which are also governed by certification. And if you don't have a higher certification than the person that you supervise, you can't supervise them. So it's it's an integral part, but that's my job to be able to make sure these people are able to be tiered enough to be able to supervise what we do.
Thank you. Mr. Medina?
Thank you, we're good.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yeah. That's not weird, so. I'm the first one to say we need a leaner administration. Not that we should have a leaner administration, but we need to. I mean, some people sitting in this room, I suggested that their positions be eliminated because of the type of experience we have. That's not saying that these jobs aren't necessary. They, how these are necessary since all these other districts have them. What we're doing is necessarily, I think, you don't very much concerned with the right side. Because it's not really accurate to say we're right siding them. We're decimating our administrative rights, which are necessary. But when we gotta choose whether to cut off an arm or a leg, we're basically choosing the arm. And this is the situation we're put in. Before last year, I was able to make the argument each and every year, I'm already aware of all this, that we had the leanest administration in the entire state of Connecticut on a per pupil basis. The leanest. And yeah, over the last year, that may have shifted, but it didn't really shift too far, even with all the hiring, which we shouldn't have been adding to subtract in the first place, but that's a whole other story. But when a governor and the mayor comes in and say we're wasting money on all these highly paid administrators, to throw smoke on their failure to fully fund our budget. And you look at these, I would love to see these posted on right next to our organizational chart on our website, what we got versus what they got. And to hear the state's coming in here because we are spending our money recklessly when we are in survival mode. There's districts that they got homeless outreach director. There's districts with a director of outreach for community. That even looking at Waterbury, we got several directors here we don't have. And it's disheartening to hear. And I agree with your assessment. I don't think there's much coming out of Hartford. I don't think there's much coming out of the city because they're leaving us to fend ourselves. And they already got into arguments. Already the narrative is they're not spending the money properly. That tells you, that signals that they don't want to give us anything. But they want to put their failures at the feet of the district when we need the money to function. We need the same per pupil amount as Greenwich to function. I mean, I know, I'm so lost, there's nothing you can do about this, but it definitely bears.
To the chair. Well, I think, I understand your argument, but I'm the type of person, I don't sit around thinking about that. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do to help this district. That's my job. That's what you're paying me to do. And I don't deal with negativity very well, but I know what the state's gonna do. I know what the city's gonna do, but I ain't worried about them. I'm worried about what my team is going to be able to do with the little that we have. And we fight every day to try to keep a smile on our face to be able to do this work. And sometimes, we gotta be able to ease up on this a little bit. We got your best interest. We got every board member around this table. We got your best interest. You gotta give us an opportunity to do with the little that we have. It's little, and it's disheartening because it's that way. But I still feel we're gonna fight with that little bit, and we're gonna do what's important for kids, and our kids are gonna rise, and then we're gonna say, you see what you didn't give us, but we did it anyway. That's what I want this team, and you guys are part of my team. That's what I want you to understand, because it's not we're trying to do and get one. We're not trying to get that over on anybody. It's just that I just don't like distractions. I'm trying to keep everybody on track to get this thing done. But I'm gonna provide you with an organizational chart that's going to be lean and mean. And it's going to help us be successful with what we have. And I think that's what I want you guys to be proud of. I want you to be able to let's do something different in this district for the kiddos. And I mean, I had a pretty bad day today, you know, but I'm trying to be very positive about, you know, because I heard today that we're not getting anything, you know, and it's disheartening to me that we go and fight, you smile, you shake hands, you do what you got to do, but for what? You know, and it's just, yeah. But I'm not gonna let that distract me. It's here, we're here. We got a good plan ahead of us. You know, I think the state still is going to support us, but they need to see a leader that's going to keep everybody together, and that's my job. You know, and I'm gonna do my due diligence to make that happen. You know, but it's just, you know, we have good days and bad days, but it's one of those days where we'll wake up tomorrow. We're gonna fight. And my team knows. I tell them all the time. It's like, hey, it's okay. We're gonna make it work. But this is going to be very important. So in the next couple of weeks, we will be, you know, bring it back to you. I may even shoot it to you in an email and say, hey, here's what I'm looking at. Give me your thoughts. And let's make this bad baby work and go from there. So again, that's what you make a good point, Mr. Skolvick. So
Right.
I appreciate that. And I know you know, and we've had side conversations too. So
Right, I 100% support your mission to do the best you can under the constraints that you are being forced upon to live. But make no mistake that, yeah, we all expect you to do the best you can. Expect our students to try to succeed. But you're being put in an impossible situation. Make no mistake that I will keep raising up that our children will be physically abused and neglected by the state of Connecticut and the city of Bridgeport. And unless we keep raising that up and we keep taking that abuse as people, I understand you're superintendent, that's not your role, roles and responsibilities. My role is to be that room. It's the board's role to be that room. It's your role to exist and deal with the money you got and bring us the best advice you can under those constraints. But then it's our role to fight to get that money. There's no way, shape, and form that I allow it and accept this to my community, for my community, without speaking out and without raging against the machine in effect. Because this is it's unacceptable the way our children are treated. And again, Dr. Lee, I support you. I don't want you to feel like it's an attack on you.
I know. You're good.
Mr. Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know we have something like this similar, years back, right, Joe? That's, people never would finish well the way it's supposed to be. I'm very glad we bring it up very. And I agree, and again, I agree with you, very. Nobody can say we never did nothing. Nobody can say we tried. Nobody can say the education of wars, that nobody was up. We did so many things. We did forum, emails, meetings. We bring the kid May 8th. We bring all the team the day, the 19th of the day, Bridgeport Day. Nobody can say we never did, we never tried. So now people from Bridgeport, they cannot point us that we never did. They need to point the people from the state, people from Hartford. If they don't want to give money for our kids, because it's not for us, it's for our kids. To be sure our kids, have better future, and present. But this is something that we always fight for years. And I know I have, Mr. Russo have the news from 1952. 1952, and they have the pro. They still always fight in Bridgeport, fight for better education and funding the Bridgeport Public School. This is something we start now. And this is something they always put Bridgeport on the side. That make me more upset that another towns get more money. Because they have state rep. They support that town. And my question is, and I always say this, and for the record, where they are our state rep representing Bridgeport. The one that said they're gonna take care of Bridgeport Public School. Because I don't forget things. Trust me, I don't forget things. And they know. I don't want people that say, I got you, I'm there. No, I want actions. I want to bring the, what we want. What our kids deserve. And Dr. Every, for the first time you're here, and I'm gonna keep saying, and people maybe don't like it, I'm gonna keep saying. Thank you for everything you do. You never give up. You can be another person saying, I'm out of here, this is a mess. I'm not gonna get stressed. But you said, no, I'm here. I'm gonna do it for Bridgeport, you're gonna do it for the parent, I'm gonna do it for the student, for everything. Not only you, your cabinet, amazing. You see the email I sent for everyone that day. You know, I take out my hat for all of you. This is not easy, it's not. But as always I say, together we can make the difference. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Regina, anything?
Waiting for the board.
We'll look forward to, I don't know if we look forward to the.
Listen, we got to.
We will continue this discussion, at a future date. Like I said, it's something we look forward to, in terms of the reorganization, but, yeah, so if there's no further question on this item, this will come back to committee in a couple weeks. The next item is just adjourning, so if anyone wants to adjourn. Take that motion to adjourn. Motion. Again.
I'm seeing her next.
I'll take up record break.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
All
All right, we're adjourning at 6:12.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Godspeed, drive carefully. I'm